aware that the biggest problem in recycling plastics is they are not biodegradable. So that soft drinks bottle, or your wrappers that you just threw away, are not biodegradable. This means the fate of most plastics is to go into landfill sites, or our oceans, where it will take hundreds, possibly thousands of years for them to degrade. You may say, what about recycling? Briefly, the problems with recycling plastics are they have to be manually sorted, which is a labour and energy intensive process. Mixed polymers are found in a range of materials, so cannot be recycled and are often dumped. Once a plastic has been recycled once, it can become downcycled, whereby its quality is decreased. The fact is that plastic recycling rates are far below other recycling rates, but the industry has improved in recent years. Worldwide, 7 groups of plastic polymers have been given a plastic identification code that people use for recycling. These you can find on most packaging or plastic materials. Different types of plastics will be recycled by different municipalities, even by different countries in some instances. Generally, it's difficult to recycle plastics with numbers 1 and 2. Plastics in these higher numbers are known as rigid plastics. So the disposal of plastics is a tricky one. Other than reducing their use, recycling or reusing them, what else do you think might be done to dispose of them? Pause the video and continue when you think you have an answer. One way is that the plastic can be incinerated or burnt. Whilst this produces useful energy, some plastics contain polymers that are halogenated. When these polymers are burnt, for instance PVC, toxic fumes like hydrochloric acid are released. This can cause severe respiratory distress and so is hugely problematic. In addition, burning of polymers produces CO2, a greenhouse gas, and so contributes to global warming. This is because about 10% of the oil is used as petrochemicals. If we then use the polymers again as a fuel for energy production, then at least we're using the oil twice. You may have heard the idea of using bioplastics as a solution, but these too can have problems. What do you think a bioplastic is? Pause the video and resume when you have an answer. A bioplastic is a biodegradable plastic. This means it's compostable and it can be broken down by the result of bacterial action when it is disposed of. Whilst this is a benefit, there are still issues with bioplastics that need solving. Bioplastics often come from renewable raw materials like starch, maize, cellulose and polylactic acids. These are plant-derived materials, and so the ethical question that arises is whether land should be used to grow crops for bioplastic manufacture instead of crops for food. Originally, we said that bioplastics are readily compostable. However, bioplastics are not nearly as readily compostable as regular plant material. If you toss a bioplastic fork into your compost and assume it will be dirt in a few months, you'll be disappointed. Whilst a bioplastic fork is compostable, it requires high intensity, high heat commercial composting for that to happen quickly. In summary, plastic disposal has a number of issues with regards to landfills, recycling and incineration. However, bioplastics, though slightly better, do not present themselves as the better alternative because there are issues of land usage, the quality of the bioplastic and how it is composted. The best alternative is to reduce our usage and disposal of plastics altogether.
PET is turning waste PET bottles into construction materials.
Lagos produces about 30,000 tons of plastics waste in just a day, and only 30% of that is recycled.
Every time you pass a pile of plastics, you pass a job opportunity.
At a first glance, this garage doesn't look like a factory, but more like a scrapyard. However, these young Africans have found success as they convert plastic waste to bricks for construction.
PET initiative is a project that came out from a project called Recreate. We started from the collection process first, collecting PET bottles from our environment, and then we now decided, oh, okay, what can we do with these bottles? We are like, we can actually make something valuable from it. So that's how the idea of PET City actually came.
We discovered that plastics were a big problem in the environment. But what everybody knew the problem as was plastic pollution. Now, we took a closer look to find out what was the root cause of plastic waste pollution, and we discovered that it was improper plastic waste disposal.
And let me make it practical. 1 kg of waste plastics is equals to 50 bottles. Now, can you imagine how many bottles is created? 30 tons. Like, just picture it, imagine. So, we saw this as a problem, and a problem that really needed a solution.
There was no innovation in the recycling industry. What most recycling companies would do is they would gather the waste and send it off to foreign countries to convert. So we had no innovation here, and that was where we came in.
This innovative group have found a solution to addressing the bedeviling issue of environmental pollution caused by the large mass of non-degradable plastic waste, and in effect creating more sustainable and durable construction materials.
We met Standard Organization of Nigeria to test our bricks. They gave us validation that it's actually stronger than the conventional one by compressive strength, water absorption, and a lot of other tests. So it's really an amazing project, and we actually are excited towards the impact it will have in Nigeria and also the world at large.
If you take a look at the building industry, cement is the most significant material you use, right? And replacing that with plastics, because once you're building something, you need a binding agent, that is cement. Now, we replace that binding agent for plastics. This is where the first stage of the production starts. So here we get a lot of plastics from different women that have been cooking for us. Over 20 women have gathered this amount of plastics for us. So now that he has gotten it into the sack, we just weigh it, then he transfers it into the production pan. So the beauty about this is we don't even have to clean these plastics because they are waste plastics. If we clean them, they are not waste plastics anymore. They are now processed materials. So production is very easy. Here he's now transferring the plastics inside. As you can see, it's turning to color black. So why it's black is because the plastics are burning. So it burns to an extent where it has reached its elastic limit. So then we can start putting the sand inside. So as we keep putting plastics, we wait till everything is liquid. So right now it's getting to about 260 degrees. So as it's pouring the sand into the mixture, it gets kind of thick. So constantly we keep stirring over and over and over again. So it gets to that viscous level because we just observe to an extent where we know, okay,